Hey everybody, this is Batman right here. This is an iPad. This is the official video game for The Dark Knight Rises. It's on iPad, iPhone, Android. It's not on an Xbox. It's not on a PlayStation. Yeah, we're in a new era, folks, where people make kind of good, kind of problematic, dare I say bad, licensed video games, official video games of the movie video games, and they make them for their iPad, your iPad. And not only do they make them for your iPad, but I mean, we'll get to what's bad about this in a second, but let's look at what's good about this. This is way more game than I think a lot of people may have expected from a machine like this. This is no Angry Birds, no Field Runners. This is, I think, what a hardcore gaming snob would say. This is a real video game. It's an open world game set in Gotham City. It's loosely based on the movie, as in they have actors attempt to sound like Christian Bale and all the other actors, Anne Hathaway and the rest, but they're not really them. They have music that sort of sounds like the movie music, and they have a plot that's kind of like the plot of the movie, but not really. Like, let's put it this way, the prison scene in this game, if you've seen the movie, or if you haven't seen the movie, I won't spoil it, but if you have seen the movie, you'll appreciate the prison scene in this one is full of Bruce Wayne fighting guards as he tries to escape the prison. I think that tells you enough right there if you've seen the movie. But most of the game takes place once Bane has locked off Gotham City. All this that you see, and you see a mini map showing portions of the city. He's locked it off. Nobody else can come in, and Batman has come in to sort of clean things up. If you are expecting sort of shot for shot recounting of what happened in the movie, you're not getting that. But instead, you're getting this open world that Batman can float around in. You'll see that when I put my thumb down, I got my left thumb down, I got a left analog stick that I can use to sort of fly around, and wherever I place my thumb is where the stick will render, which feels fine. This also plays fine on iPhone. I don't love virtual control sticks like this, but it works out pretty well. And then here is my grapnel button, and you'll see the little blue indicator there, which is showing that there's something I can shoot toward, and I can get to it. So people who have played games like, guys to fight. No, turrets to run away from, rather. People who have played games like Arkham City, Batman Arkham City, and Batman Arkham Asylum on their console or on their PC are going to feel somewhat familiar, or feel this is somewhat familiar if they play this. It is, I would say, a poor man's version of those games, and you'll see once we get into some combat, you'll see what some of the problems are, but right now I'm just flying around for you a bit. My next goal is over there, so we're going to fly to that. The game is open world, as I said before, which means there's some things that you'll just sort of come upon in the game, people being mugged, or there being a bunch of gangsters somewhere that you need to beat up, or bombs you need to defuse, and there's when you go into those little missions, you kind of get walled off a little bit, and you wind up clearing out part of the city, and I don't know ultimately what that does other than get you an achievement, but it's sort of like, hey, here's a little side mission to go on. Otherwise, you go on these main missions. Commissioner Gordon and other folks will have you do good things. Here's a guy. Let's try to sneak up on him. So the problem of the game, one of the main problems of the game is mostly the controls here. You'll see sometimes works nicely, sometimes kind of janky. There's a lot of button tapping to just sort of mash away to victory. Fine, no big deal. And I need to knock these things out. Well, there we go. Okay, you got that.
These people are already dead. They just don't know it yet.
Nobody opens their mouth when they talk. It's one of the things. There's a lot of nodding, gesticulating. And this is, I mean, think about this. This is only $7. I think this is the kind of game that you would have paid full price for and played on a Nintendo 64 or a PlayStation 2 back in the day. And here we are in a brave new world where this kind of thing can be had for just $7. There's lots of missions. I've played it for a few hours, and I think I'm only halfway through. All right, so we've got some group combat here, and you can see some of the basics of punching and countering. The enemies are pretty dumb, so you just wail away on this. You'll be in more trouble if the guys with the guns show up at the same time, because they're much harder to defend against. But otherwise, this is from Gameloft, the people who have, made games loosely based on Grand Theft Auto, God of War. They always have titles that sound kind of like those games. This is an officially licensed Warner Brothers product, so they have the right, I guess, to basically be aping a lot of the style that you see in Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Asylum, which are games that, of course, cost $10 as much as this game, but it's up to you, I think, to determine whether or not they're 10 times as good. I would argue the gap might be a little bit narrower than that, and that says something about where iPad gaming might be going. But yeah, here's the combat system in action. A lot of just wailing on guys. Another big piece of the game is that they've got the tech shop here where you actually see that this game is a bit of an RPG as you're gaining experience points and special points or whatever those are and money. You can do things like upgrade your Batarang. Some of these upgrades aren't available until you further upgrade the character by collecting more experience points. So the more you play, the more missions you do. You can get, I don't know, a grapnel that is more powerful when it reels the guy in. It might actually hurt him. I didn't even show you have EMP batarangs and smoke bombs. You can make the range of the smoke bomb greater. You eventually can get this bat pod, the motorcycle-like thing from the movie. And I think with this, I might be able to summon it whenever I want and sort of zip around. You eventually, and this I have not unlocked at all, but the bat, the flying vehicle from the movie, you can upgrade Batman himself and get ways to knock guys into walls, I guess, and critical strikes and get better armor. And a lot of this is tied into a whole other meta level economy. So while yes, the game costs $7, they'd rather you spend a whole extra dollar in order to get tactical analysis, which I think gets you more XP per guy you killed and things like that. Health packs and what have you, a lot of it tied into in-game currency, which again, you can buy for real money. That's how this is iPad gaming, right? You saw the good of iPad gaming. Here's the other side of iPad gaming that, well, yeah, you could spend $7 on this game, but you know, why don't you spend $100 more? Just in case you need 150,000 gold point credits. Well, I'll tell you, you don't really need that many Wayne coins. Just play the game. So, not a great game, not a bad game either, though. Barely based on the movie. So take its official licensedness with a grain of salt. But if you are looking for some sort of little more Dark Knight Returns, and you're looking to see what the world of iOS gaming is all about these days, it's moving awfully close to the world of at least kind of okay licensed movie games, and maybe taking a little bit of turf away from the consoles in the process. For $7, look for it on iTunes or the Android store. Dark Knight Rises.